Battlefront Classic.
If you want to know the real difference between the original Battlefront games and the Classic Collection, then you've come to the right
It's about the same thing. Like, honestly, I would even say this is probably even worse.
place. Because in this video, I'm going to be looking at the old console and PC games
No,
and
they changed the
comparing them
background
up against the brand new remastered bundle to highlight the differences, changes, and new additions.
They didn't do
along with
anything.
the unfortunate launch issues for the Classic Collection. Okay, let's start with the console version and then move on to the PC. Now, what I have here is the original Xbox version of both Battlefront 1 and 2 running on my Series X. Both these games are part of Microsoft's backwards compatibility game catalog, and this means the games are running at a faster frame rate with a higher resolution and auto HDR. You know,
That's an improvement? Okay, yeah. I mean, better frame rate, that's pretty good.
The Classic Collection. So what's the difference? Well, let's start with Battlefront 1. Now, the Classic Collection has upscaled all of the game's textures to 4K, but they're still the same 2004 textures, this time just a bit crispier. Unfortunately, this does result in an
I'm gonna be honest, it looks like it's about the same.
almost 60 gigabyte download size. Now, the regular Xbox version of the original upscales it to 1080p, but because the upscaling is done in-engine, Battlefront 1 remains only 3 gigabytes in size, while its sequel is only 4.
So it went from 3 to 57. So this is 3 and this is 57. I don't know if it was worth it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
On the left, we have 7 gigabytes versus 57 on the right. The Classic Collection upscaling is most evident in larger open-world maps that have big
that looks a bit
background
better.
scenery textures like Hoth or Geonosis.
That's
Compared
nice.
to them, the original console textures look very low-res and washed out, especially when playing on a big TV or monitor. However, one of the reasons for the Classic Collection's backgrounds looking so much better is because it uses the PC version as a baseline, which always had better textures. For example, here is the old Steam version of Battlefront 1 running at 1080p with the graphics settings maxed out, and here is the classic.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Wow. This is why it costs this is why it's 57 gigs? Is that right?
Classic Collection version of Battlefront 1. Suddenly, the difference is a lot harder to tell. Now, the Classic Collection does have improved lighting, which is most noticeable on stages like Bespin platforms. In general, the colors and contrast are better balanced in the Classic Collection when compared to the console version.
How much is the new edition? How much money is it? It's $35. That's a pretty good amount of money for
me, the Classic Collection did also run at a consistently higher frame rate in single-player mode than the console version, but I did not notice any significant difference in draw distance or texture loading between the two versions.
It's literally the same fucking thing, man. Like, how do they think they... Like, how can you do this whenever, like, Final Fantasy VII, like, the update for that, like, how can you do this and not just acknowledge that, like, you're just being a piece of shit? I don't understand. You could make it a little bit better, though, right? I mean, damn. It's like remastering it. I don't know. Like, this is bad.
Versions. In fact, certain elements like grass have this gradual
like the
fade-in
Master
effect
Chief
in the
collection for
console
Halo
version.
was way
Meanwhile,
better.
The Classic Collection would just have them pop in, but that also seems to be something that happened in the original PC version. Some of Battlefront 1's levels
call it
do
re-release,
look better than others when comparing both versions. For example, the original Geonosis looks very hazy and washed out when compared to the remaster. And the newer, crisp backgrounds of Hoth do really stand out because you'll be spending a big portion of that level in the open. But then you get levels like Tatooine, which look almost identical. In fact, the hot air effect from the original console version seems to be absent from the Classic Collection. Now,
this is the...
Now, the Xbox version of the Classic
I can't even tell the difference, man. I don't even know what the difference is.
Has altered some of the controls, most notably the starfighters, and unfortunately there doesn't seem to be any way to reconfigure the mappings, at least on the console version.
Why not?
Now, controls aside, the gameplay...
Wait, so they didn't even let you can't even change the keybinds?
Itself seems unchanged from the original. The bots are still running around all over the place, and the games retain their trademark 2000s jank. And here we have the male X-Wing attempting to mate with the female. And this being Battlefront 1, you can of course park your starfighter wherever the hell you want. The loading times were always faster for the original game. All the 4K textures probably slow the Classic Collection.
The 4K textures? It's more like 4 extra textures. It's basically the same fucking thing, man.
down a bit. But can someone please explain why the
Yeah,
Classic Collection
I don't know
has
about
decided to
this.
replace the iconic two-tone chime to just playing the first chime twice? Now, I'm going to talk about my online experiences with both games a little later. In the meantime, let's move on to Battlefront 2's single player. And this game did get a few more features in the Classic Collection compared to the first. The official description lists Jabba's Palace as the only bonus in Battlefront 1. Meanwhile, Battlefront 2 includes all of these maps, plus 2 new heroes that you can use in Assault mode. And yes, these are bonuses if you compare them to the original PlayStation 2 version. But every one of these was first included as part of the DLC for the Xbox version, which thankfully has been included as part of the backwards compatibility release, which means that both the original and Classic Collection versions have Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress as playable heroes, along with a bunch of maps from the first game. But the novelty of these maps is kind of diminished in the Classic Collection because, well, all you have to do is just go back to the menu and boot up the first game to play them. Now, the Classic Collection does have XL mode across both the console and PC versions. This mode was first introduced on PC and takes advantage of the beefier hardware to spawn in way more bots across 3 of the biggest maps, which would result in...
I get that it's just like a remaster, but like, they didn't change it at all. It's like, what the fuck?
these glorious scenes of chaos. And while it is limited to single player only, this is a genuinely great addition to finally have for console players. Classic Collection's graphical improvements do seem to be a bit more evident on Battlefront 2. For example, the higher textures and better lighting are noticeable in the Jedi Temple, but I did experience some strange lighting effects. Mace Windu's lightsaber is a lot thicker these days, if you know what I mean. That, and there were
Wow. Wow, guys. This is exactly what we needed. Thank God.
That, and there were some weird flickering lights on Camino. Hey, somebody want to change the light bulb? The slightly better lighting effects were also noticeable in space battles. The Galactic Conquest map does look better this time around. I am glad they brought back the menus from the console version of Battlefront 2. The PC schematics always felt a bit lifeless. But the issue here is that they just ran some kind of upscaling algorithm on the pre-baked background instead of making a new one, which resulted in some very crispy looking Rebel pilots. Okay, so that's the original Xbox version with some in-engine backwards compatibility upscaling up against the Classic Collection, both running on Series
I
X.
mean, I guess the dinosaurs look a little bit better, right? I guess. Yeah. I mean, there's more grass. Because, like, there's grass here. And there's not grass. Like, I mean, this is just like, man, I would feel so stupid if I bought this. I feel so dumb, bro. Like,
But what about the PC? Well, here is the original vanilla Steam version with all the graphics settings set to max compared to the Classic Collection on PC. And, well, there seems to be...
oh, God, man. This is just exactly the same. Yeah.
even less
How
of
do
a
you
difference
do
this
this?
time around. In fact, let's play a game. I'm going to show you some footage, and you, dear viewer, have to guess if it's from the original Steam version or the Classic Collection. Okay, here we go.
This is from the original game.
Now, how about this one?
Oh, fuck.
Well, here's the answer.
Oh.
Okay, let's try it one more time. We've
Oh,
got
fuck.
this one,
Okay. Okay.
and this one.
I think this is the new one because of the
And
background.
here it is. Did you get the right answer? With that being said,
Yeah,
both
yeah,
versions
yeah.
currently
It's okay. I can tell
cost
because of the background.
£8.50 on Steam, which means you can get both for £17 versus the Classic Collection, which is £29.
Wait,
And
so
I
they
have-
basically just increased the price of the game by $10? So that's basically what they did. Is they re-released the same game, but now it costs $12 more.
I've seen the originals go down quite a bit during sale season. Okay, let's talk about multiplayer. Now, the Classic Collection's big selling point was online play, which was still alive and kicking on PC, but has been dead on consoles for years. And it was a pretty major selling point because the original games were great fun online back in the day. And so, ever since the announcement, the fandom waited for the Classic Collection with bated breath, hoping to recapture the feeling of the good old days. And then the game came out.
Apparently, there were only 3 servers that were available on the release of the game, and each server could hold 64 people. So if you didn't get into one of those 3 servers... Oh yeah, and apparently they were laggy too. Yeah.
Now, as of the making of this video, the Classic Collection has only been out for about 48 hours, and already it feels like me trashing the poor multiplayer experience would be like beating a dead horse. The internet went hard this time. I haven't seen excitement turn
people
into
are pissed about this
so quick since, well, EA's Battlefront. As for my experiences, I tried playing online both on the Xbox and PC versions. On launch day, I did get kicked from both quite a few times and experienced my fair share of connection errors. And from what I read, my experience wasn't as bad as a lot of people's, but it still wasn't great. It did improve on the second day, but there was a lot less people playing then, so maybe that's why.
I wonder why.
I have already made a statement saying they're going to work to improve the online experience, but I think by that point a lot of people would have either moved on or just got a refund. Now, connection issues aside, my biggest issue was the region-locked servers. Me and fellow Star Wars enthusiast Neosci spent an hour trying to find a common server, but me being in the UK and him being in the US, it just wasn't possible. So instead, we loaded up the original version of Battlefront 2 where we were able to play together instantly. My other issue was...
I don't know why they don't just have an option to where, like, you can play with people all around the world, but you have to click like a button that says I'm okay with lag. Like, why not just have that and just like not have that as the default?
Game's local multiplayer. You see, growing up, my best Battlefront memories were actually comprised of going over to friends' houses and playing Conquest on split screen.
Is.
And so, as soon as the Classic Collection got announced, I messaged my friends and arranged a meetup day of launch for old time's sakes. You know, because I foolishly assumed that the Classic Collection would have 4-player split screen, like the original Xbox version had 20 years ago. Unfortunately, the Classic Collection split screen is limited to 2 players. We still met up with...
Why? Like, I wonder, like, why is that? Like, if you have split screen, like, I wish that I could have been in the room whenever they were coming to this conclusion, where they were like, yeah, we're going to have split screen, but it's only going to be 2 people. And it's like, why? Well, our data suggests that most people only have 1 friend. So, nobody has 3 friends. So this will never actually become a problem. So we're just not going to do it.
We just ended up playing the original Xbox version, and you know what? We had a great time. Which kind of tells you everything you need to know about the Classic Collection, but that's just my...
So basically, he got all of his friends together to get excited about the remaster, and then whenever they saw how bad it was, they just played the old one again, and everything was fine. So EA basically just made $35 for nothing. They just made $35 for no reason.
Please let me know your thoughts and experiences with this game in the comments. As always, thanks for watching.
This is amazing.
Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and a big thanks to all my existing patrons. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
That's fucking sad, man. Oh my god. Battlefront Classic is getting review bombed. I don't think this is a review bomb. This is consequences for your own actions. If you release a game and the servers don't fucking work, I mean, this isn't like Last Epoch where it's like, oh, this is their first game ever. And even with them, I didn't say it was bad. You can review, if you buy a video game and it doesn't fucking work, then it's fucking broken. And if you buy something that's broken, is it unfair to leave a bad review? I don't think so. I think that's pretty fucking fair. That's right. Review bomb versus honest review. Yes, and you should contextualize reviews around them being issues with online versus issues with gameplay. Absolutely. And Steam has this built in with their 2-week review automatic filter. However, jeez. Jesus, 22%. That's not so good. They took a 3 gigabyte finished game and turned it into a 73 gigabyte finished game. Well, I mean, yeah, that's what they do now. Welcome to online video games. Yeah, having a terabyte hard drive means that you can play 3 games at the same time. Players immediately look to the game's Steam reviews to share their displeasure about the release, with it landing a mostly negative on the platform. On its immediate launch, gamers reported that just 3 64-player servers were live to serve an estimated 10 100,000 players. And then people wanted to play multiplayer, which was the selling point. And then when more servers did go live, the situation didn't improve. It was really bad. Okay. It isn't all doom and gloom. Hopefully the fixes are being made. Yeah, I feel like this is a you get what you fucking deserve situation. I really think it is. Yeah, I mean, what else is really bad for 1 hour when there are only 3 servers? Yeah. I mean, and again, if the game is good, it will stand on its own, and over time the reviews will change and they will get better. Because, like, there have been a lot of games that have gotten review bombed, and then after they fixed the problems, then the reviews started to improve. So I think that's it. What do they expect? Well, you should expect that whenever you buy a game, that the game should function in the way that it is intended. Review it, getting what they fucking deserve. Exactly. Review bomb implies that it's happening for an unjustified reason. When we're on the subject, are there review bombs that aren't generally just disgruntled customers? Well, yeah, if the game doesn't work, yeah, but then that makes people disgruntled. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. Millions of views on trailer, extreme hype on the internet, game company chooses to open pre-orders. Yeah, it's like, and that's another thing, right? It's like if you have pre-orders, you have a head count for how many people are going to play the game. Like, do you really think that EA doesn't have any data for, like, how many people pre-order versus how many people play the game on day one? Of course they do. They have more data than anybody. So, like, what the fuck? It is sad whenever you see a good game get review bombed for a temporary problem. It sucks. Like, it sucks with, like, Helldivers 2. It sucks with Last Epoch. But it is the customer's discretion to leave that review. It is fair to leave that review. 100%.